What's up, guys? Welcome back to Voyage RC. In today's news in the RC world, Horizon Hobby just announced the new Axial 110 SCX10 III ready to run version. So when they first came out with the 10.3, it was in a kit form. They just announced the ready to run version, which you can see here comes in two colors. You've got the gray and the orange. Pretty premium price tag on it. They're looking for $500 for the ready to run. So we're going to go over some of the details and whether or not it's actually worth that premium price point. So stay tuned. Alright guys, we're on the SCX10 III ready to run page here. This is the orange version. Figured I'd click on that one to get a little bit more color. Gray looks good too, but it's more of a kind of a standard plain color. The orange is going to pop a little bit more. It looks to me initially like more of an orangish red, so it does. It's not as very bright orange, if you will. It's definitely got kind of a red hint to it, or red hue to it. So that's nice. Looks pretty good. You can see they are in back order because they just announced them. So the $499.99 price tag, and then looks like they're expecting them in early July, so should be about roughly a month out. Hopefully a little sooner than that, 3 weeks to 4 weeks out probably. But anyways, let's go over it and see all the specs on it and stuff. Of course, the features list here, they're going to tell you it's got the replica V8 engine with the transmission housing and transfer case, blah blah blah, to look legit. It's going to accept a full-size LiPo or nickel metal pack, and then it looks like it's space on the side rails for running small pack sizes. It's got the dig function, 2-speed option, portal axles. It is an adjustable wheelbase chassis. It does come with inner fenders and floor sides, so that's kind of a nice bonus there. I know I just talked about a few weeks back about the new Enduro Trail Runner, and none of their trucks have come included with fenders yet, so that's always an added bonus. Of course, Traxxas, the TRX4 lineups always had fenders. Does have the licensed KMC Machete beadlock wheels, Nitto Trail Grappler tires. It's fully rebuildable oil-filled shocks, which hopefully have gotten better than the original Axial stuff because they have always leaked in my experience. It does have the Spectrum DX3 transmitter, and then it's got their Firma Smart 40 amp ESLI receiver combo box. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit and my thoughts on that. And then it does have a Metal Gear high torque servo, which should be kind of your standard for ready to run servos. Nothing special there. So again, something you're probably going to end up upgrading. Most ready to runs, the servos are kind of bottom of the line as far as spec wise, so it's typically something that gets replaced. And then of course it does have the scaled Jeep Wrangler unlimited body with detailed interior, so the interior is another added bonus over a kind of a standard RTR. Most RTRs aren't going to have an interior, but right here you can see needed to complete. All you need is the battery and charger for that battery, because it does come with the fully built 10.3 Jeep Wrangler with the DX3 radio system and the product manual. Horizon Hobby always does a nice little product video, so if you want to watch this video here, kind of see them running it on the trails and their little overview of it, I will leave a link to that video down in the description below, so you can click on that and check that out. But here's some of their features. You do have the scale engine detail, which is all in black molded plastic, so you can get in there with some paint and kind of detail it up a little bit. And then it's got the multiple battery mounting locations, so you've got your standard location here and then a smaller size on the side rails here. I don't know how much that would throw your balance off by putting the battery on the side rail there, but you do have those options. Again, if you're running like your main pack just for the truck and you want to power lights or something separately, you do have that option to add a little pack there, so that's kind of nice. You do get the dig transmission with the 2-speed option. So this is kind of cool. So it's going to come with their micro servo set up for the dig function. If you would rather run the 2-speed option, you can move that servo to the 2-speed side of it, so it sounds like it's already got all the gearing and stuff in there to run the 2-speed. So you can kind of choose. So it's going to come with the dig out of the box, and then you can choose whether you want to run the 2-speed instead, just by switching that servo over to the 2-speed side of it and then hooking up the linkage. And that being said, you would be able to add another one of these servos there if you wanted to run both. So you could leave that set up for the dig out of the box and then add the 2-speed function too and have both, which is kind of nice. That little servo there, I believe, is only about $15, so not a huge expense. And then from there, they do have the portals that they introduced on the 10 III platform. So this is the same kind of setup you would get if you had the kit. So it does have the portal offset axle housings with which are going to give you better ground clearance, basically something that came originally on the TRX4. So the TRX4's always had portal axles, which is really nice, gets you a little better ground clearance basically. Instead of having your axle housing way down here, it offsets with the gearing and gives you the better clearance. This is an adjustable wheelbase chassis, which most chassis are, so you can set it up to whatever wheelbase. If you wanted to change the body on it to something else and it was a different wheelbase, you could always change that by changing the links out. Optimized suspension geometry, something you see advertised on any new chassis that comes out. That's always something they always advertise, but they're always working to get better geometry and better performance out of the suspension. But this also gives you a good look at the links. You can see they have a hole drilled in the middle of the links, so when you're building the links, not that you have to on this one because it's ready to run, but you can put like a wrench or something through there to lock the link in, and then you can twist the rod ends. Makes it a little easier to build, and then adjust your lengths and stuff when you need to make any adjustments. You do get the fender liners and floor sides. So you get the floor sides here and the fender liners to kind of hide all the electronics and make it look more like a full-size truck. Gives it that more scale look. These are the licensed 3-piece beadlock wheels from KMC. Gonna be a plastic wheel, but it is a beadlock, so that's nice. You can always change the tires out without having to buy another set of wheels for it. Most guys are gonna upgrade to like a metal beadlock just because it gives them more weight down low, which is nice. Then you get the Nitto Trail Grappler tires. Axial's been working with Nitto for a long time, so they've always had Nitto tires with them. Should be a decent performing out of the box tire. Of course, there's always better options out there. These are going to be your adjustable coilover shocks. They look to be a little bit different design than the older ones that I'm used to, like the Icon shocks and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how well those hold oil. I know Axial's shocks in the past have always been known for their inability to hold fluid in the chamber. So that'll be interesting to see how these do. But it is a threaded body and everything, so fully adjustable, fully rebuildable shock. And now we're getting into the electronics portion here. You've got the Spectrum DX3 transmitter, which is a 3-channel transmitter, which gives you that extra function to run that dig like I was talking about earlier, so dig or 2-speed. You would have to upgrade the radio to at least a 4-channel radio to run both. So if you wanted to add the 2-speed in addition to the dig, you would be upgrading your transmitter, which, you know, for a ready to run transmitter, putting a transmitter in there that's going to run the dig function is nice. But you would be upgrading to like their DX5C or their DX5 rugged, something like that, to run the dig and the 2-speed. So if you wanted to run both and add that extra servo in there, you would be upgrading your transmitter as well. Now I prefer the DX5C. I've had issues with the DX5 rugged in the past. Their touch button surface on it was very, very hard to use. They've said they've done a revision to it to make it better, but I don't have any experience with the new ones, so I can't say whether or not it helped. But that's besides the point. We're talking about this truck, not that radio. So then you get into their Spectrum Firma Smart, quote unquote, 40 amp ESC receiver and waterproof servo. So the speed control and the receiver are built into one box. I hate when companies do that, to be honest. I can see why they do it in their smaller vehicles, like their small, their Temper Gen 2, stuff like that, where you're really, really limited on space and you don't have room for separate speed control and receiver. I just think, it's nice that it saves space and maybe a little bit of weight. But honestly, most guys are going to want to either swap out the ESC to something different to suit their needs, or swap out the receiver if they want to run a different radio. So the downside to having this all built into one is if you want to change one of them, you're required to change both of them. So it's just an added future expense for the consumer. Now, if you're the type of consumer that you just buy a ready to run truck and you just change the basic things like, oh, hey, I want to try these tires or stuff like that, and you're not worried about the electronics and those work fine for you, then hey, more power to you, and that's going to work and probably suit your needs. But I really don't like it when they do an all-in-one system like that. I can see why they do it. I'm not a fan of it. The nice thing, however, is that is a 4-channel receiver. So if you do upgrade to a 5-channel radio to run the dig and the 2-speed simultaneously, you can go with something like the DX5C, which they sell as a transmitter only, so it's not going to come with the receiver in the case, so you're not paying that additional fee for a receiver you're not going to use, and that's $100. So it's $99.99 for the DX5C transmitter only, and then you can link that right up to this receiver that's already built in and have the 4 channels to run both your dig and your 2-speed. So nice that they did that, didn't limit it to a 3-speed or a 3-channel, excuse me. So it's nice that they kind of planned ahead and let you know that, hey, you can add the 2-speed to this, and then your receiver's already got enough channel ports for it. So that's kind of nice. Then we get moving on to the body here. This is the Jeep Wrangler Unlimited 4-door body with the interior and everything. Tons of detail. Axial has always been good about the detail on the body side of things. So even when Horizon took them over, you can see you're still getting all the Axial quality. Your just main difference was, when Horizon took over, they're obviously putting their electronics in it, so it got away from the tactic stuff and into the Spectrum stuff. But yeah, the detail on the body looks really good. You got those CRC bumpers. You got all the detail on the body. You've got the wipers and the detail on the hood and door handles, mirrors, and then you do have the interior, which I'm assuming you can swap the hats out on the guy. That's how most of their interiors have been. Now that's just me assuming things, but he's got the cowboy hat on in the picture. I'm assuming they had a couple of the different hats and whatnot in the parts tree. That's how most of their kits have been and stuff. So when you build it, you get the option to kind of select what you want on the dude's head. But yeah, the truck looks really good. It should perform really good. It's got that Axial quality to it. So it's their 3rd generation platform with the portal axles and everything. And then nice thing is it does come with the dig transmission out of the box with the option to switch it to the 2-speed or add the additional 2-speed. Doesn't look like you're going to have to be buying a 2-speed conversion kit to get all the extra gears and stuff. It looks like everything's just built into the truck. So you are getting a lot of features with this. They are asking kind of a premium point for it. You got to figure that the TRX4s are roughly $460, and then even going down to the Element Enduros, you're sub $400 there. So this is definitely the higher price point of all the vehicles, but you are getting a lot of features. So the dig transmission with the 2-speed, really good feature, and then beadlock wheels, which the Element comes with. The Traxxas doesn't. Traxxas is glued on tires out of the box. I'd say the really only downside to this vehicle, other than that premium price point, is going to be your ESC receiver combo. That's just something I've never been a fan of, but that's my 2 cents on that. But yeah, that's the new SCX10 III ready to run Jeep Wrangler from Axial and Horizon Hobby. So nice, cool little addition there. We all kind of all saw that coming when they originally released the 10 III as a kit. You knew they were going to come out with a ready to run version for it. So if you're still watching, thanks for sticking around, and I hope this video answered any questions for you guys that saw this post that they announced it and we're kind of considering getting the rig. So I hope I answered some questions for you that you might have had. If you do have any other questions, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed what you watched, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned for more future videos. Hopefully this truck is going to be hitting the shelves on their estimated early July shipment there. So hopefully we'll start seeing them out in the wild. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.